The most exhausting part of being cheated on isn't the heartbreak. It's the rewriting of your own history. It's the way your mind forces you to look back at every memory, every text, every smile, and ask, was any of it real? Most people will tell you that cheating reveals who he was. A liar. A coward. A narcissist. They tell you to move on, because he didn't deserve you. But deep down, that answer doesn't satisfy you. Because the question that actually keeps you awake at 3 a.m. isn't why did he do it? It's, how did I not see it? And that question, as terrifying and painful as it is the exact moment the fog begins to lift. Because what betrayal actually reveals isn't just a flaw in his character. It reveals the invisible foundation the relationship was built on. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. Cheating is almost never the origin of the fracture. It is the loudest, most violent symptom of a relationship that had been quietly suffocating in silence. 4 months. Maybe even years. Think about the distance that was constantly explained away. The conversations that hovered safely on the surface, because going deeper felt too risky. The lingering, unsettling unease in your stomach, that you labeled as, just my anxiety. You stayed in that quiet space, because naming the problem meant you would have to face it. This brings us to the second, much harder truth this experience exposes. You may have been deeply invested in the idea of him, rather than the reality of him. As women, we possess an incredible, sometimes dangerous gift. We can look at a man and see his absolute highest potential. We see who he could be if he healed, who he could be if he grew up, who he could be if he loved us the way we loved him. We fall in love with that imaginary future. And once we become the protectors of that beautiful mirage, our brains actively stop seeing the reality in front of us. The red flags are downgraded to, he's just stressed. The emotional coldness becomes, he just handles things differently. The changing stories become things you convince yourself you misheard. Betrayal is brutal, because it completely shatters the mirage. It strips away the potential, and forces you to look at the relationship exactly as it was. Not as you hoped it would become. But the deepest, most profound revelation here isn't about him or the relationship. It is about your relationship with your own intuition. If you look back honestly right now into the quietest corner of your memory, was there a moment? Even a tiny one? A text notification that made your chest tighten? A story that left a strange gap in your mind? A subtle shift in the temperature of the room when he walked in? Most women who have walked through this fire will tell you the same thing. On some level, I knew. But you didn't act. Not because you were weak, but because trusting your intuition in that moment meant being willing to blow up your entire life based on nothing but a feeling. And that is a terrifying thing to do. So you chose to distrust yourself, instead of risking the relationship. So where do you go from here? How do you ensure this pain actually serves you? First, you must grieve completely. Do not just grieve the man you lost. Grieve the future you had meticulously planned in your head. Grieve the version of him you believed in. You are allowed to fall completely apart before you decide how to put yourself back together. Second, run an audit on what you ignored. Not to punish yourself. Not to assign blame. You did nothing to deserve being lied to. But because the patterns you refuse to examine are the exact patterns you are doomed to repeat. Ask yourself, what did I silence inside myself just to keep the peace? Third, rebuild the alliance with your instincts. Start incredibly small. The next time something feels slightly off in any area of your life, do not dismiss it. Say it out loud. Acknowledge it to yourself first. Because the woman who fiercely trusts her own gut is a woman who becomes entirely impossible to deceive. Being cheated on is a violent emotional experience. But it does not have to be the end of your story. It is simply the moment the blindfold was taken off. For the first time in a long time, you can see clearly. I don't make these videos just to give you relationship advice and leave you to figure it out alone. I am here because I genuinely care about the woman you are about to become on the other side of this. The boundaries you are going to set. The patterns you are finally going to break. And the real unshakable love you are going to choose next time. This isn't a quick fix. It's a practice. Every single week, we take off another layer. Every week another piece of the puzzle clicks into place. Subscribe to this channel right now. Not to help my channel grow, but as a commitment to your own evolution. Because you deserve to understand your own power fully. And we are going to do exactly that. Together. I'm so glad you're here. See you next time.